incremental analysis, sometimes referred to as differential analysis as well. This is where we're going to use information to make decisions, pretty much. We've talked about how accounting is the language of business, and it is. And one way we use that is to make good decisions. We have a lot of data. We have to have it in some kind of a usable format, and that's going to allow us to make good decisions for the company and allow our management to have information so that they can make decisions as well. So incremental or differential analysis is one way to allow us to do that, and it's pretty straightforward in the fact that what this is doing is we're weighing alternatives. We have some options. We're looking at doing a few different things, and we need a way to make a decision of what to do. So that's what incremental or differential analysis will do for us. So a lot of times you'll see these and you'll go, oh no, these are all word problems. Don't freak out. Life is a word problem. Okay? You're given data, you're given situations, you have to make decisions based on the information given. So that's what this is. We're going to use the data, and all it is it's taking data that you know and just putting it in some kind of a usable format so it's easy to see and read and make a decision off of. Okay? So let's start out. We'll just jump in. I'm going to do several examples of incremental analysis. The first example I'm going to do is let's consider what we call make or buy. So your company currently makes a component part or a product itself, or let's say you make cars and you've been making everything that goes into the car, which car companies don't do. So you decide that you don't want to manufacture, say, the sound system and the speakers and all that. You just want to get somebody else to make it, you purchase it from them, you put it in the cars. Okay? So, whatever that might be, let's say you're currently producing a product or a component part of the overall product. So let's get some data on it. Another thing to consider when you talk about production is capacity levels. So if you're at, let's say we are at 100% capacity. That's important, can be important for a couple of reasons, but when you talk about production, anytime you're looking at making additional decisions, if you're already at 100% capacity and you're looking at increasing production levels, then you're going to go over capacity, which means that you're going to have to increase and look at fixed costs. Okay, for a lot of this, the fixed costs won't necessarily, it's not that they don't matter, but they're not going to change because they're fixed. It doesn't matter what production level we're at. That does matter, however, if you go over 100% capacity. So that can be an important part. So if we were looking at, let's say we were currently buying something and we were looking at making it instead, but if we were at 100% capacity, then our decision to make something also has to include information on the additional fixed costs we would incur to do that. Okay? But let's say that it's the reverse. Let's say we're currently making something, like I said before, and we're looking at purchasing it or buying it from an outside source instead of making it ourselves. So whatever this product is, let's say that we're currently at 100% capacity, but we're actually looking at reducing capacity. So that won't be an issue. And again, don't get bogged down by the details. Think about if you're making a product, okay, what do I need to know to compare that to buying the product? Well, first thing I need to know is how much does it cost me to make it? Okay, so when you talk about manufacturing costs, what things are we talking about? Okay, we've talked about manufacturing costs before, so when we look at that, I need to know what are my direct materials, my direct labor, my factory overhead. Okay, so that's the first thing I want to know. How much are all of these items? So, my direct materials. All right, let's say that, and I'll put a few little numbers up here too. Let's say that direct materials are $4 per unit. Let's put a 4 under here. And let's say that direct labor is $5 per unit, whatever it is we're making. Okay? And let's say that our production level, our units that right now that we're making are 30,000. Okay? So my total direct materials cost is $4 a piece. We're making 30,000 units. So right now we've got $120,000 in direct materials. Okay? Same kind of thing for direct labor. $5 a piece, 30,000 units. So that means we got $150,000 in direct labor. So far, so good. All right, so now we need to know something about factory overhead. Well, when we're talking about make or buy, and we're at 100% capacity, but we're making currently, and we're going to buying. So really, in factory overhead, the only thing we need to consider is variable factory overhead, because the fixed part isn't going to change. Remember, fixed, it doesn't matter if I make 2 items or 2,000. As long as I'm at or under 100% capacity, the fixed cost will be the same. Okay, think about rent on the factory building. If we are paying rent on it, and we're paying, $5,000 a month, that rent's not going to change if I make 2 items or if I make 2,000 items, okay, in total. It's going to be $5,000. So I don't really need to include the fixed part in here because it won't matter. It'll still be the same thing if I make it or buy it at this level, okay? So I just want to know the variable component of factory overhead. And let's say that variable factory overhead is equal to 70% of our direct labor cost. All right, so when we talk about the variable factory overhead, and I'll just shortcut this for space, then we're going to take 70% of the direct labor. Well, we know our direct labor, it's right here, 150,000, and I need 70% of that. So that's going to be 105,000. Okay? Good? Yes? Okay. Now, again, we can list fixed factory overhead out here, and I'll do it, we can do it both ways, because we're going to have the same thing either one, so it's not going to matter. But if you just want to look at what we're doing currently, you can list it, but you certainly don't have to. So if we just leave it here and just look at the variable components, then that's going to be $375,000. Okay? Now this is under the current circumstances. This is if we make things. Now I want to compare that to what if I decide I want to buy it instead of making it. Okay, so what's my direct materials going to be for that 30,000? Well, I'm not going to have any because I'm not making it. Same thing for labor. Same thing for variable factory overhead. I'm not going to have any of these because I'm not making it anymore. And in fact, hang on, I needed to leave a little bit of some space. Let's see if I can erase this. Sorry. Because what's the only thing really to consider if I'm buying it? How much am I paying for it? Okay, so over here, you're going to see, let's just put your purchase price. How much am I going to have to pay for this? Let's say that we go look and we find out that if I buy this on the market, it's going to cost me, if I want to purchase it, oops, let's put a Y in there. Well, alright, if I want to buy, that doesn't say bug, it says buy, then it's going to cost me, let's say market is $12.75. Okay, so still going to buy 30,000 units. So if I buy those at the current market price, then that's going to be $382,500. Won't be anything over here because we're making it over here. Okay, you can total these up if you want to. 3,825. Total over here would be our 375 that I erased. Now, the whole purpose is I want to compare these. Which one should I do? Well, you can see the comparison here, and that's pretty easy. And remember, these are all costs. We put them as positive numbers, but they are all costs. So over here, we're going to put, how would this impact net income? So we can put net income increase or decrease. Or you could also title this differential income or incremental income because it's going to be the difference or the increments, what changes between the two. So if we make versus buy, okay, so we're considering buying. So if we bought, we would increase income 120,000 because we wouldn't have the direct material cost. We'd increase income 150,000 because we wouldn't have direct labor cost. And we'd increase income 105,000 because we would not have variable factory overhead for that. Now again, if you wanted to put fixed factory overhead right here, you could, and we'd have, let's say that your fixed part, was equal to $45,000. So if you had that, you could put it here, and I'll kind of shadow this in. Fixed factory overhead, it would be 45 here, it would be 45 here, and that's going to change these totals. I'll give you another total. If you added this in, then you've got, what's that, 420 here, and you'd have 427.5. So I don't want to confuse you, but I'm just trying to show you either way you might see this in practice. But overall, what's the incremental difference? Nothing, because it's going to be the same. And that's why usually I leave it out on my incrementals, because it just makes it a little muddy. So you can put it in, you can take it out. The end result's going to be the same. So if we buy, though, we're going to have this additional cost. So that's going to decrease net income 382.5, because that's the cost that we have if we purchase. So overall, now you can see easily from this, there's the cost of make, here's the cost of buy. So which one do you want to do? If you just looked at these two, you could tell me, but this is our incremental column. So overall, what's that going to do to net income? It's going to decrease net income by $7,500. Okay, be the same for these numbers. That's still going to be a decrease of $7,500. So you want to make, you want to buy? Ding, ding, ding. You want to keep making. Okay, purchase would not be the good choice. Okay, this is the whole point of incremental or differential analysis. It's to make a decision between some options, and it uses data to put it in a format that we can easily view, and you can say, here's the report on this, here's the differential analysis, and you can easily see, oh, well, we'll lose $7,500. Let's not do that.